Welcome to the fertilization module. In this talk, we're going to learn about the basic aspects of fertilization. We will first learn about the major events that are involved in the process of fertilization, followed by the different types of fertilization. Fertilization is the process when a male and female gamete fuse to form a diploid zygote. The male gamete is referred to as the sperm, while the female gamete can be called as the egg or ovum. There are many structural differences between the male and female gametes that we're going to learn about, but when we look at their size, they're not equivalent. The male gametes are a lot smaller than the female gametes. Fertilization is the fusion of the male and female gamete to form a diploid zygote. There are different steps involved in the process of fertilization, and the first event involves the contact and recognition between the sperm and the egg. The recognition process is an important process because the sperm and the egg have to belong to the same species in order for fertilization to occur. The next event is the regulation of sperm entry into the egg. During this process, the egg has to ensure that only one sperm nucleus can ultimately unite with the egg nucleus, and thus polyspermy has to be prevented. Polyspermy is when we have more than one sperm that enters the egg, and in such situations, we will not end up with a diploid organism. Thus, the regulation of sperm entry into the egg is an important process. Once the sperm is able to enter or its membranes are able to fuse with the egg cell membranes, the fusion of genetic material has to occur. Once the fusion of the genetic material occurs, the egg, which has now become fertilized and become a zygote, has to start its metabolism and begin the different processes of development. In order for fertilization to occur, the sperm and the egg have to be able to interact. And the first step in this process is chemoattraction, where the sperm is able to follow a trail of molecules secreted by the egg so that it can go close to the egg and find the egg's location. Once the sperm has been able to find the egg, the process of exocytosis occurs, where the sperm's acrosomal vesicle is able to release the enzymes that are present in it. These enzymes are able to cleave the different extracellular matrix proteins or other molecules that may be covering the egg so that the sperm can now bind to the vitelline envelope or the zona pellucida of the egg. Once this binding occurs, the sperm has to be able to go through this extracellular matrix to be able to contact the egg cell membrane. Once the sperm is able to contact the egg cell membrane, then the fusion of the egg and the sperm cell membranes can occur. There are two main types of fertilization, which is the external fertilization and the internal fertilization. In external fertilization, the ovum or the egg is laid outside the organism's body and into the environment. So in such situations, the sperm fuses with the egg in the environment and not in the organism's body. This kind of external fertilization is observed in many different animals, like in sea urchins, frogs, fish, and other types of animals. In the case of internal fertilization, the ovum or egg is present within the body of the organism, and thus the sperm are able to fuse with the ovum or egg inside the organism's body. Internal fertilization is observed in different organisms like mammals, reptiles, and birds. It should be noted that it is easier to study the process of fertilization when the fertilization is external. In fact, sea urchins have been used as a model organism to study fertilization because they show external fertilization, and thus a lot of knowledge that we have gathered about fertilization is through studies performed in sea urchins. With this, we come to the end of our talk where we learned about the major events involved in fertilization and the different types of fertilization.